This report is sponsored by the West Automotive Group. Padres finally back today after the All-Star break, bringing a record of 52-44, playing the Nationals 38-58. That game will be going at 3:45 today on the East Coast. Dylan Cease will be going for the Pods, while Michael Soroka will be going for the Nationals. Padres currently favored by minus 150 on the money line. A massive UFC fight going on tomorrow. Holloway and Poirier weighing in later today. Be in New Orleans, Dustin Poirier's hometown, expected to be his final fight of his career. Max Holloway is currently a minus 130 favorite in the fight. Time is money, and there's no good time for your vehicle to break down. Keep your car and your schedule running smoothly with the West Automotive Group. For the highest quality of customer service and vehicle repair, visit westautomotivegroup.com to book your appointment today.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
Oh, two youths.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
No fluff, just facts.
So I had an idea to get all of our listeners to call in and do Circus Survivor.
Whoa, dude.
I don't think that's legal.
On that you can trust me.
You're not serious, are
The
you?
program director said that that's not legal.
Can't do it.
Sammy's going to teach me how to play craps.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't know how to play craps.
I have played craps a lot in my life. I've won a lot of money playing craps, but I always just do whatever my friends do.
If your friend jumps off a cliff, you're going to jump too.
I mean,
To enter
They're real and they're spectacular.
the Fletch Zone.
On a Friday, let's get it going. It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Don't worry, gang. We got through it. It is back. Sports are back. Padres back on the calendar coming up tonight. 3:45 first pitch. All's good news, right? Well, Dylan Cease is on the mound, so we'll see if he could start his second half a little bit better than the first half was going. We got big quotes from Manny Machado we'll be giving you as the Padres head into the second part of the Major League Baseball season. A huge, huge card out in New Orleans for the UFC 318. Going to be the BMF belt on the line between Max Holloway and what's presumed to be the last fight ever for Dustin Poirier. We'll get into that today with Adam Hill out of Las Vegas. Steve Hartman is going to be stopping by, coming up at 1:30 for his Friday appointment. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Sammy, but last Friday with Steve Hartman was when things got a little weird, right?
Yeah, he said that he thought about you on date night.
See, I usually do actually, believe it or not, text Steve every once in a while during the week. I have not spoken to Steve since last Friday. Have you talked to him? Is he coming on the show today?
He is coming on. I texted him this morning. He said he's all revved up and ready to go,
Oh, boy.
which could mean a wide variety of things.
Let's get even more awkward, shall we?
But yeah, Steve was in rare form last week. He was very riled up. So let's see if date night was a success on Tuesday and maybe it's a little calmer.
Yeah, we're going to get to it all today. And we'll see. Maybe Steve is even more horny today than he was last week. We're also getting, I think that San Diego Sports 760, we uphold a certain level of integrity, a certain level of greatness. And I do think John and Jim sort of put a bad look for the whole station over the last couple of days. They did great on air, the Mountain West Media Days. I think they did an excellent job covering it.
Well, can we just get into that right now?
It was sure. But just what they did surrounding work, I feel embarrassed by personally. Sammy, I think you feel the same way.
Yeah, so I'm listening to John and Jim as I do. Many of you do as well. And we love us some.
That's my favorite part about that show.
Of course,
it's not even close.
Brandon does all the legwork, but doesn't get the credit he deserves. So they're out in Vegas, as you have known the last couple of days. And I'm like scrolling through Instagram late at night, and I see this drop from Jim Russell. I'm like, "What's Jim Russell? What are they up to?" They're in Vegas. It's 11:30. The night just beginning. Could be at a bar. Could be at the tables. What are we doing? John is buying baseball cards. And not $5 packs. Not, hey, I threw a couple bucks in here so I can give it to my son. $125 per pack to open baseball cards. Now, Fletch, I don't know about you, but usually when you're in Vegas and you're spending money like that, it's usually should be at the blackjack table, at the roulette table, buying drinks, things of that sort. And then the other thing that they did, Jim Russell's now in this too. Jim Russell, who I thought wasn't that nerdy to be buying baseball cards left and right, is now buying baseball cards left and right. And they're eating sushi in the middle of the desert. In a town like Las Vegas, your pick is to eat sushi. There's not an ocean in sight.
The worst thing is that it's a like routine they do in Las Vegas. Whenever they're there together, and they've done this trip a few times now, they always get this same sushi place. And it's not like a high, like some of the casinos have magical sushi spots and really great restaurants. No, this is like an all-you-can-eat place hidden on the strip that Jim Russell found one time. So it's fair to say we're judging a little bit here in studio. It's also fair to say that come a month from right now when Sammy and I are in Las Vegas, things are going to be a little bit different.
I'll tell you right now, Fletch and I won't be buying baseball cards.
No, we will not.
In Las Vegas.
Unless, like, somehow we end up winning $1 million+ and somebody offers us, like, a Michael Jordan rookie card sign.
Yeah. Like, but even then, like, I'd rather just go back to the tables and place future NFL bets.
I think so too, Sammy. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. Padres are back today. We're going to get into that coming up in about 5 or 6 minutes here in the second segment of the show. Right now, it is time for the Big Three, where Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports so you can get off of your lunch break and go back into the office and maybe raise some eyebrows a little bit. Sammy Long, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
We got a couple different ways for you to watch the show each and every day on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. That bad boy stays live from 12 to 6. You can hear all about how good the sushi was and the baseball cards from John and Jim a little bit later on. Also on X at Fletch and Sammy. We would love a follow. We'd love a subscription. Bring it all on. Sammy, where are we starting?
So we have things to talk about. Major League Baseball is back tonight. Woo! Thank God. We have some things to watch. How important is the next week between the Nationals and Marlins, the two teams the Padres will be playing, to convince ownership to buy, or do you think they have already made up their mind?
In answer to that, I will quote Manny Machado, who is the leader of this team, who's honestly been the best player on this team so far this year. He's right around 300. Quote, "We played our worst ball so far, so the best is yet to come." The best is yet to come, excuse me. Manny Machado said it, and from his lips to God's ears, the Padres, it's been weird because you look at the team, you see the team on paper, and you're like, they should be better than what we've seen so far. The next 2 weeks are huge, Sammy. I really do think that. And not so huge in the sense of convincing AJ Preller to buy, because I think he's going to be a buyer regardless. But it's huge in the sense of, can you get this second part of the season off on the right track? Can you put away the notion that you're just a team that's going to win a bunch of one-run games? No, show me that 14-3 team. I know that's still in this team somewhere, but we haven't seen it since the very beginning of the season. So can you come out and get off to a hot start, get Nando's back going right away, get Jackson Merrill's back going right away, and hell, maybe even turn around the fortunes of Dylan Cease's season. Today's huge. The next 2 weeks are huge. The Padres are right there in the middle of it. If you want to be right there in the middle of it by the end of the year, you're going to have to keep playing good ball.
Yeah, and we're past the point of, oh, it's early, they're going to figure it out. Like, no, this is second half of the season. This is where MLB really starts to pick up and get fun, because you have a bad week, especially with how tight the NL is this year. I mean, there are about 7 teams vying for 3 spots, which I think the Padres could very well be one of those teams. I think the Padres are more talented than some of those teams, but they can't afford to have these kind of long stretches. I know you just pointed out the 14-3 start. But really, since then, they've been an average to below average baseball team. In scoring 6 runs in 4 games against the Diamondbacks, unacceptable before they came in here. It was nice progression that they beat the Phillies at a 2 out of 3 set there over the weekend, who is a really good ball club, who should be going far in the NL. But, I mean, these are teams. Washington, the Marlins are awful. Washington's not good on paper, but as we saw, there's a lot of former Padres on this team. So there's some things that they're playing for. It'd be nice to come out and kind of remind everyone that the Padres are a threat in the NL, because it does feel like over the last couple of months, people nationally have kind of forgot about that a little bit.
I'm nervous about my math here, but I just did it in my head. Since that 14-3 start, they're 5 games under 500, because now they're eight games over 500.
Yeah, they're 8 games over 500.
5 games under 500 since the 14-3 start. And that's not good enough.
I think also and it won't change in the next week because of the competition they're playing. I really want to see the Padres start playing better against better competition, because that stat, I mean, it was awful at one point. At one point, it was 17-31 against teams above 500. Again, they beat the Phillies over the last weekend, so maybe things are turning up. They went 2-2 against the Diamondbacks. But when they start playing some of the NL West competition again, I'd like to see them dominate a little bit and take it to them.
Something we're going to talk about in just a couple minutes is the run differential so far in the National League, where the Padres stack up. It's alarming, to say the very least. We'll get into that a little bit more in a bit. Sammy, where are you going next?
So, breaking news out of the NBA yesterday, Damian Lillard returned to Portland on a 3-year, $42 million deal. This comes after he was cut by the Milwaukee Bucks. Surprisingly, they bought him out of his entire contract. Do you think this is smart? He's obviously out for the next year. Do you think it's wasting the rest of his career going to a team that is not even close to contention, or do you think it's cool that he's going back to where he started and played most of his career?
I like it. I really do. And maybe it's a little sappy, but Damian Lillard as a Portland Trailblazer has some of the coolest moments in NBA history. And that's not even exaggeration. Some of the buzzer beaters he hit on a couple different postseason runs were cool, man. And so for the fan base in Portland who literally look at Damian Lillard as a god, I think it's cool that that's where he's going back to finish up his career. Is he out next season?
Yeah, he's out for all of next season.
So this is also them doing him a little bit of a favor. It's not a huge money contract, but it's Damian Lillard going back to his home team to try to finish out his career the right way. I think it's cool, and I don't think it needs to be looked into much more than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's cool in the sense of Portland. Yeah, I mean it's kind of a city like San Diego that doesn't have a ton of professional sports teams. That is their team up there in Portland, and it's cool that there's a homegrown star. And there is something to be said in whatever sport it is when there's a player that stays with the team his whole career. It's a fun thing. Dame went and tried to go kind of win a ring with Milwaukee. It is kind of overall thing. Feels a little bit of a bummer from not seeing Dame, someone so talented as Damian Lillard, and one of the most clutch time players that we've seen in the NBA in the last 20 years, really kind of not be in a situation where they're a real threat to win a title. I know some of those teams with CJ McCollum, they went to the Western Conference Finals one year, but they weren't really a real challenge to Golden State. They beat them in like 4 games, I believe.
That was the problem. It's a little bit of the Ravens and the Chiefs. It's like you're running your head up against a wall.
Right. So it's a little bit of a, not that I wanted to see him go to Boston, but Boston was in on him. The Lakers were in on him. Minnesota was in on him. The Warriors, I believe. So there were 4 different teams that you could have made a case that following the year after they could have been playing deep into June. But hey, it's his prerogative. He wanted to rehab in Portland, so good for him, I guess. All right, massive. We'll do this one first. UFC 318, Holloway Poirier. Who's got the edge for you, Fletch?
Holloway probably has the edge, and I think he's favored in this fight. Holloway has the edge simply because of wear and tear on the body, and Max Holloway's got plenty, believe me. But Dustin Poirier has been doing it for so long. This is his final chance, right? This is probably his final fight. He hasn't made an official announcement. I'm hoping Poirier wins. I am rooting for him in a big way. Max Holloway hasn't been winning a ton lately, but that BMF belt is the last thing we've all seen, right, from him, where he knocked out Justin Gaethje in the last second, where he was pointing down at the center of the octagon. It's going to be fun. I promise you that. I don't think that this fight ends in any sort of decision. Someone's getting knocked out. I also think that. And that's been the brand of the BMF. So I can't wait for it. If you had to make me give an edge, I would give it to Holloway. But man, I'm hoping Poirier goes out there and gets the win.
I'm interested in to see how, and this fight's going to come up in long shots later. I think we have an all fight boxing UFC long shots this weekend. But yeah, this fight's interesting because it's 2 fan favorite fighters. Max Holloway's a very fan favorite fighter, as well as Dustin Poirier, very famous fighter with all of his fights with McGregor and then now with Holloway. But
you see who's walking Poirier out?
No,
Lil Wayne.
Oh, that's
in
cool for New Orleans. So but to that end, I'd say Holloway has maybe reached higher peaks in his career, but Poirier has had his number. He beat him in 2012. He tapped him out. He won a decision in 2017. So you also it's hard kind of handicapping this fight because it's like, this is Poirier's supposed final fight. I know everyone retires in the UFC and boxing, then they end up coming back. But I kind of believe Poirier. I don't think that he has much left in the tank. He's had a lot of miles on the odometer. He's had a lot of fights. How locked in is he for this? Is he trying to go get a knockout? Max Holloway's coming up in weight. So everyone remembers him knocking Gaethje out. He doesn't have the same kind of power that he has at this, but then Poirier's power has went down over the years. It's going to be a fun, fan-friendly fight. They also
fight differently in BMF fights. There's a little more pressure to get the knockout just because of the belt that's on the line.
Well, I think the fact that he's fighting in his hometown, I think there's something to that. Like I don't want to spoil it for long shots later, but I think that this is more not a fight that goes forward for the UFC in terms of like the UFC probably rather have Holloway win because Poirier is going to retire. They're kind of done with him. But in terms of this is a fight for the fans.
And I think most of the fans are rooting for Poirier here. He's been such a fan favorite, like you said, for so long. But for the most part, I think anyone's happy with this just ending in a knockout or ending in a submission, ending with some fireworks. And that's how Dana feels too, because the BMF belt doesn't usually just go to a submission. The BMF belt is for a bad mother bleeper. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. It is San Diego Sports 760. Adam Hill is going to give some more insight on this fight coming up. He used to cover the MMA super closely, and so we'll get some of the history between Holloway and Poirier with Adam Hill coming up in just a little bit. But coming up next, let's get into the Padres as they enter the second part of the Major League Baseball season, what they need to do before the trade deadline, and what are our expectations for guys like Dylan Cease, who struggled in the first half and need to get better in the second half. That's next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
You know what's more fun than winning money by yourself? Winning money with your friends. As known in the show here, we believe in squad ride W's. That's why you got to check out Circus Survivor. It's $1,000 to enter. So grab 9 of your friends or family and go in $100 each. Or if you and your buddy are confident, split the grand yourself. You pick one team each week to win the matchup. Once you burn a team, you can't pick them again this season. So I'm looking here at the NFL Week 1 schedule. Now, the thing that they don't want me to tell you, this is the thing that you can get ahead. The first month of the NFL season is where you have the edge because the sports books don't have the lines wired in tight. But this is where a casual might want to pick the Eagles. They might want to pick the Chiefs, or the Bills, or the top teams in the AFC and NFC, but you want to save those for down the line. Remember, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. We're trying to go 20-0 and outlast the competition. I'm looking right now, if Sammy Claus is given a pick this early in July 18th, Cardinals on the road in New Orleans picking the Saints or picking the Cardinals over the Saints. I'm giving it out free to you. With Circa Million, you have the ability to win $15 million. All you got to do is go 20-0 or outlast everybody else. If you're like Sammy, I don't want that kind of pressure. I don't want to have to watch one game each week and sweat it out, and then I spend all this money and I lose. Then you get to pick 5 games each week. Then you got Circa Million. That's where you pick 5 games against the spread each week. All you got to do, you can win up to $6 million in prizes. 5 games against the spread each week. Winner gets $1 million. And get this: if you're the worst entry in the pool, you win the booby prize, which is $100,000 to the worst entry. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere, and win your money now with Circa.
San Diego FC back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got Vancouver, the Whitecaps at Snapdragon Stadium. You can hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. I can confirm that John Schaefer and Jim Russell are back. Jim Russell is in the building. They are back from Vegas. They made it back alive. It wasn't the best Vegas trip, if you ask me. They were just eating sushi.
Yeah, of course they made it back alive. They didn't do anything that could jeopardize
Do
that.
you think either of them actually gambled $1?
No. That's what I want to ask him. I might go grab them for the last segment if they're here, because it's kind of embarrassing if they got sent out there and they didn't make one bet, not one NFL future bet, not one bet on Crawford Canelo, not one bet on San Diego State to win the Mountain West. I mean, what's going on here?
Talk about a good long shot. I think they were picked to finish 8th. That'd be a fun one to throw down.
Put a little money on that.
I wouldn't mind it. Let me ask you this, Sammy. Would you rather go to Las Vegas, like a work trip, like we are doing in a couple weeks here, go to Las Vegas and not gamble $1, or go to Las Vegas and lose $500 gambling?
Sorry, say it again. Go to Las Vegas and not gamble at all.
Not gamble at all. So you're walking home.
Or go to Las Vegas and lose 500?
Yeah.
Go to Las Vegas and lose 500. You know why? Because you lived a little. Listen, if you're sitting there drinking, playing craps for an hour and a half, those are memories you're never going to get back.
And friendships.
I met people at the table. I was like, I never see them again, but we'll always have that memory in our head.
So did I. I mean, last time I was there, I made buddies with a guy named Chris from Missouri, who I still text with every once in a while.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I had a guy asking me for money, and then we'd end up being friends.
That's not cool. He probably shouldn't have asked you for money.
No, he just wanted a few dollars.
You definitely shouldn't have given him money.
I didn't give him money.
Crazy thing to do. Sammy.
I didn't give him money. I said, first off, $5 ain't gonna help you gamble here. And then the dealers yelled at him, but I was like, hey, be cool to him. He's just hustling a little bit. It's okay.
He's just a dude. All right, Padres, they get the second part of their Major League Baseball season started today. I know a lot of people say second half. It's not really the second half, because we've already gotten over the halfway point of the Major League Baseball season. But the second part of the season, they use the All-Star game as quite the divider. And as we enter into the second part, there's a lot of questions facing this team. Like, will everybody who's currently playing still be on the team come trade deadline time? And I don't think the Padres are going to be selling. I do think that there's a way to move Dylan Cease off the team and still be buyers at the trade deadline. But I think the Padres' priority should be getting Dylan Cease right. Because do you remember when we talked to Kevin Acee earlier this week, Sammy? He said something that's spot on. The Padres don't need whatever you would get back from Dylan Cease at this point, because it's probably not going to be that much. It's another half a season with a guy who's really struggled this year. So teams are going to try to lowball you if you're offering Dylan Cease. What you need is Dylan Cease to be Dylan Cease in the second half of this season. Now, he hasn't shown that he's been that this year, but last year he was pretty inconsistent too. So I don't know what the odds are on Dylan Cease coming out there and looking like a runner-up to the Cy Young like he was when he was in Chicago, but that's who the Padres need at this point.
I'm with that. I got to disagree with Kevin Acee a little bit on that, though. I think Dylan Cease has a market. And because even though he's struggled this year, he has been good for, and a pitcher needs to be able to go 6 or 7 innings, but he's been good. It's not like he's been awful at all times. He has been good for the first 2, 3, even 4 innings. He's gotten blasted in the 5th and 6th. Dylan Cease is a big name. He's not super old yet, where he would get a lot with the amount of teams that are competing to try to get in the playoffs. He would have a market. Now, the problem is you don't want to trade him to in Arizona or a Mets or teams that might be interested in him, because, hey, then you're just making it harder for yourself to try to reach the postseason. But I do think Dylan Cease would have a market. It'd be interesting if most trades in the MLB are a player for a bunch of prospects. It feels like the Padres need players to win now. But hey, if you think that the starting pitching staff is good enough without Dylan Cease, because honestly, he hasn't really helped the pitching staff this year. Obviously, the best case scenario would be him getting back to Dylan Cease form. But if that's not going to happen, recouping some prospects wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I think you got to go with hope. And that's a bad strategy. Hope is always a bad strategy. But you just got to hope that Dylan Cease maybe is even a little embarrassed by the first half he had and can come out reinvigorated, back into form, and try to get after it. 760. Speaking on the Padres, next 2 weeks are vastly important. August until October is an absolute sprint now.
Well, in May, the one hope for Dylan Cease getting back on track is there's something to be said. We see this all the time with quarterbacks in the NFL. When someone gets drafted behind you, all of a sudden that quarterback's play goes up, i.e. Alex Smith when Patrick Mahomes was drafted, Kirk Cousins for the first half of the season when Michael Penix was drafted and then he got benched. There's something that Michael King's coming back. Yu Darvish just came back the week before. So it's not like Dylan Cease could be as bad as he wanted to be, and they're still going to keep throwing him out there because at the end of the day, there was no, what are you going to throw Stephen Kolek in over him? I mean, come on. Even though he's been better for he might be good for a couple spot starts, he's not better than Dylan Cease. With the amount of pitchers coming back, if he keeps struggling like this, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to bench him, but he's certainly not going to be considered one of the aces of the rotation.
Now, Dylan Cease has been an excellent shield for some other Padres who maybe haven't performed up to snuff, because he's been target number 1 from the fan base. And whether that's fair or not, but Fernando Tatis Jr. needs to hit better in the second half. We can talk all we want about the pitching, about the bullpen being taxed. if Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts, and Jackson Merrill aren't hitting better in the second half, you need to score runs. The Padres run differential is +7 right now. You know what the Brewers is, who are the number 1 wildcard team right now? 87.
The Brewers are scary.
I think that's the right number. Let me double check so I have that
well, that's
right.
To that point.
Brewers are 81, Padres are 7. +7.
To be fair to Dylan Cease, because I think that's a good point you just brought up, Fletch, about how Dylan Cease has been public enemy number 1, and I'm not saying that it's not justified because the fan base has been, you expect greater things from him. But we all know Xander Bogaerts struggles. Fernando Tatis has evaded a lot of blame. And we know that because Fernando is still a great player.
Because when people were watching every single game, the Padres were 14-3 and Fernando was hitting incredible.
Right.
And then baseball goes through the lull, the dog days of summer.
Jackson Merrill. We love Jackson Merrill here. He has not been good the last couple months. So it's not just on Dylan Cease. And if they scored some runs, I mean, again, we go back to this 6 runs in 4 games against the Diamondbacks. That's unfair to put on your pitching staff.
All right, UFC 318 is coming up this weekend. Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. We're going to get into it a little bit with Adam Hill, who works out in Las Vegas. The other thing to get into with Adam Hill, the Mountain West offices have just moved to Las Vegas. The Mountain West is going to look very, very different in just a year's time. What is the future of the conference? We'll talk about it with Adam Hill coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Padres back tonight, 3:45 in Washington, taking on the Nationals. Padres are currently -150 on the money line. Dylan Cease bringing a record of 3-9 with a 4.88 ERA. Will be going for the Pods, while Michael Soroka will be going for the Nationals. In the boxing world, Manny Pacquiao is making his return tomorrow night against Mario Barrios for the WBC Welterweight Championship of the World. He is currently a +230 underdog to do so. Make a splash, there's some cash at Valley View Casino and Hotel. On July 25th, one lucky winner will wave hello to cash, and more cash, or spin for $100,000 during the 3 C's giveaway, only at San Diego's favorite casino.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long. Quick update out at Royal Port Brush. Scotty Scheffler has taken the solo lead. He just finished his 18 holes for today. Fired a 64 in there for a golf course that's making a lot of people look like golf is really, really hard. Scotty is making it look really, really easy, hitting every fairway, nailing putts all over the place. A 64 at the Open is an unreal score. And Scotty Scheffler, who was not very fulfilled. Sammy, you remember that?
It's not fulfilled. Winning fulfills you.
He might not be very fulfilled, but he's pretty locked in so far this week out at Royal Port Brush. All right, we got Adam Hill on the line, who's from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Adam's been covering a variety of sports out in Las Vegas for years and years and years now. Covered the UFC and MMA for a long time, and we got a pretty big one coming up this weekend with the UFC 218 out in New Orleans. Adam, first of all, how you doing, man? Thank you for coming back on the show. You got Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you. How's life, Adam?
Pretty good, although I'll be honest, didn't get to San Diego enough this summer in the off season with training camp getting ready to start. I think I only made it 3 times this summer, but I did get, I think, 5 Padres games in those trips, so not too bad.
That's not bad at all. That's about as much as Sammy and I've gotten in, I feel like, this year. We live here. But Adam, it's great to talk to you, man. So obviously we got some history coming up this weekend. Dustin Poirier, one of the legends of the UFC, fighting against Max Holloway, who everybody's going to remember that Justin Gaethje knockout he had in the last time the BMF belt was up for grabs. This is a pretty big fight. So if you want, can you just give us a quick history of Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, these two history together, and the history of the BMF belt in general ahead of this weekend's fight?
Yeah, I mean, the BMF belt is fake. It's made up, but it's fun, right? I mean, it's basically, I mean, one of the things that the UFC, has done is, they have created this BMF, which I don't, we can't say, I guess, what it stands for on the air, but basically just a title when guys don't have a title to fight for, but it feels like it's a big enough fight. And really it involves guys that are, most likely just going to go stand and just beat each other up for 25 minutes. I mean, they kind of created this belt a few years ago for some of those kind of fights. And, this is definitely warranted to fight for it. It's not like a belt you win from somebody. It's just, kind of up on the line. When you have a main event, especially that doesn't have another title at stake. So it's just a fun thing more than anything else. Don't get too worked up or caught up in that part of this fight. But what you really should be paying attention to is just the fact that you mentioned Poirier's a legend, Holloway's a legend. I mean, these are two guys that have become, huge stars in the sport, not because necessarily of their, sustained greatness, although both have been very great. Mostly just because of the way they fight. They're entertaining. They're fun every time they go out there. And I think the biggest thing that you can take from why they're so beloved is that Dustin Poirier probably has a very direct path to win this fight, which would be to go out and submit Max Holloway if he wanted to. But he's not going to do that. Nobody thinks he's going to do that. Like, nobody in the world believes he's going to go get him to the ground and submit him. Like, this is Dustin Poirier's last fight. He's from, Louisiana, so he's back home. This is kind of a showcase for him. And everybody just knows he's going to go out there and just start trading punches, even though it's not his best path to a victory. He's just going to go out that way. And Holloway is the perfect opponent to do it. They fought twice before. Poirier has 2 wins, but it was a long time ago. 2019, the last time that they fought each other. Both were great fights. Poirier won submission of the night the first time they fought. It was fight of the night the second time they fought. That was for the interim lightweight title. So I think it's just going to be fun. I think it's going to be memorable. It's going to be a great moment. The most excited I am for this fight, besides just the fact that it's going to be an all-out brawl all the way through, is Lil Wayne is going to walk Dustin Poirier to the cage. And I think it's going to be a big moment in New Orleans for sure. But I think it tells you all you need to know about why this fight is so important, because Dana White hates this stuff. He hates this. He only does it for the biggest fights and the biggest moments, and really as a reward to guys that have, given it all in their career. So he allowed this to happen. And it sounds like Lil Wayne also will be wrapping the title around the winner. So he's going to stick around and put the belt on whoever wins this fight. So I'm excited about that. And that crowd is going to go crazy when Lil Wayne walks out.
To then in the UFC, there's been a lot made of like, who's the next star? Conor McGregor is not really fighting anymore. John Jones retired, then came out of the testing pool. Who do you think the UFC badly needs to start? Who do you think that would be going forward?
I mean, do they need it? I used to think so. And they used to be really good at creating like the next star. And it was, you had for a while, it was like Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, and people just emerged as these massive stars. And they did a really good job of creating them. They haven't really had to lately, because I think everything changed business wise during the pandemic. Like, they took it to a new level where people would just watch anything. and they didn't really have to create the superstar everybody had to watch. So I do think the business model changed. I think the business changed in general. I think they created a fan base that wasn't just tuning in for one person. They were tuning in because they knew they were going to get good fights every single night. And I think you saw a drastic shift. But if you want to pick anybody, I mean, we saw him in the last fight. I mean, I guess he's already there, but it's Ilia Topuria is the guy. I mean, there's nothing like not to like about him. He's arrogant for sure, but I mean, he backs it up. He hits so hard. He's so entertaining when he fights. He's fun to listen to talk, to, make his predictions about what's going to happen and actually follow through. There's times where you think he's maybe just doing a little bit of a Conor McGregor impression, but he's backing it up. And I think he's the guy right now and in the future.
And he's got a heavy fist. Charles Oliveira saying he's never been punched that hard as when Ilia Topuria knocked him out. All right, Adam, let's switch gears a little bit. We got, obviously, the NFL season is, 56 days away now, maybe 55 days away now. And the Las Vegas Raiders, I find an incredibly interesting team heading into this year.
Yeah.
We've seen articles about Pete Carroll already doing his work to change the culture. But are people not thinking about the Raiders enough as a potential dark horse playoff team this year, do you think?
That's interesting. Like, I've been pretty close. I've been accused by the Raider fan base of being negative about the team in the past. And my comeback is always, when have I been wrong? Like, they're like, you say they're gonna be terrible every year. Like, yeah, they are. But I've been pretty convinced from the beginning of OTAs all the way through minicamp, and nothing changed my mind now. Like, this team is going 9-8 this year.
Wow.
I don't think they can be that much better. I don't think they can be that much worse. Like, they're going 9-8. Like, does that sneak them into the playoffs? Maybe. I don't think so necessarily, but I don't think they have this huge ceiling. I don't think they can be like some surprise team that blows everybody away and makes a Super Bowl run type thing, or even win a playoff game. Like, I think they could potentially sneak in. I think more likely they're, one game short of making the playoffs. But what they've done, and look, I don't necessarily agree with this philosophy. I may compete for a Super Bowl title or go 2-15. Like, those are my two options if I'm running a team. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be 8-9 or 9-8. But I think they've done everything they could to make sure they're not terrible. And I think it makes sense from, Pete Carroll's perspective. He wants to, he's big on compete. Every single day is compete for the day, compete for, to win the next drill, everything else. Like, he wants to compete. He wants to be in the mix. And I think he's done that. Like, Geno Smith isn't going to, take your team to a Super Bowl, but he's not going to let you be awful. He's really accurate quarterback. He's, smart, makes good decisions for the most part, although we saw some slippage of that last year, but he's solid. He's not spectacular. And I think they did that at a lot of positions. Like, I would have looked, they needed to overhaul the linebacker room. This is the one I've been talking about a lot. They needed to overhaul the linebacker room this year. And I would have went out and found like a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds who maybe were off the radar, haven't, really produced yet, but hey, let's stockpile some young talent and see who emerges. And then in 2 or 3 years, when you're ready to compete for a title, like maybe they're ready to do that. Maybe they're, they've emerged as solid players. Instead, they went out and found veteran players that are just really solid. Like Elandon Roberts, solid player, not spectacular. Not what I would have done, but it's clear the message that they're sending. They don't want to be terrible. And I think they've accomplished that. I don't think they could possibly be terrible this year with the team that they put together, but I also don't think they can win a Super Bowl.
Ashton Genty, obviously the top pick for the Raiders. I was debating this with someone about where you should take him in fantasy, because are the Raiders going to like run him into the ground? Like, I know they kind of had the Josh Jacobs thing, but what do you think on that?
Yes. The answer is yes. I guess next question. No, yes, they're absolutely going to run him into the ground. They almost have to, right? I mean, I don't believe you take a running back in the top 10 of the draft. I just don't. And I think Ashton Genty is spectacular. I think he's unbelievable. I think he's one of the best talents we've seen a running back in a long time. And I've been watching him, obviously in the Mountain West Conference for a few years and covering him there. A couple of heartbreakers for UNLV and Mountain West championship games against him where they just couldn't tackle him. So I think he's going to be phenomenal. I'm watching him in practice. He's everything he's supposed to be. But when you take a running back that high, I think there is going to be kind of some, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but they're going to want him to succeed. Like, they're going to want him to put up a ton of yards. And the other thing we've seen, and Mountain West observers probably didn't see a whole lot of him in the receiving game. I know he put up some good numbers 2 years ago, but a lot of that was just little flips out into the flat and just getting him outside the tackles and letting him run. Like, the Raiders have actually been using him as a legitimate receiver. Like, he's been in the slot a little bit. They're throwing it to him all the time in practices during the offseason. So I think they're going to use him a lot as a receiver. I think they're going to use him a lot as a running back. I think he's going to put up a ton of yards, a ton of stats. And he kind of has to justify where they picked him. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And quick side note on Ashton Jeanty, I was at Mountain West Media Day the last couple of days. And my mission was to find one negative thing about Ashton Jeanty, not because I want to bring him down or anything like that. I was asking guys like, hey, everybody I've talked to just raves about this guy. Can you give me something? Did he miss a class? Did he get an answer wrong in a team meeting? Like, has he fumbled? I mean, he did fumble quite a bit, but I mean, has he done anything wrong that you can kind of make fun of him? Like when I talked to him in the locker room, and Cage Casey, the offensive tackle for Boise State, kind of thought about it. He goes, let me think about something. I'll give you something. And he came back to me a couple minutes later. He goes, I think he's perfect, man. I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I guess one imperfection that's being shown in camp, right, is that the Raiders coaching staff wants to change his pre-snap stance. Is that real, or is that just some offseason babble that the NFL is just trying to feed us something?
So I thought it was babble until I asked Chip Kelly about it. And Chip Kelly got very weird about it. So I think it's real.
Wow. Why?
I think it's, hey, you're in the NFL now. You're going to do what we tell you. And, Ashton kind of downplayed it. He said, look, they want me to do this, but I think I just have to earn it. And he thinks he's just going to, have a couple of good performances and then he can earn it again. And, for those that don't know, he does that kind of weekend at Bernie's, stand up just straight, like he's immobile, he can't move, and he's just kind of real loose standing up, and then takes the ball from there. And it's very different than most running backs line up. And the Raiders, apparently told him to change, and he thinks he'll earn it back. I think when we asked Chip Kelly, he kind of said that's an athletic stance that you have to get in. Okay, I don't even know what the hell means. He did pretty well out of how he stood before, but yeah, I think it's real. I think they at least want him for now to line up in a more traditional stance before he takes the handoffs and before he gets into routes. And we'll see how that works out. If it lasts into the season, or if it's just a temporary thing of, hey, you're a rookie, listen to what we tell you.
Well, Adam, you're the best, man. Appreciate the hell out of your time. At Adam Hill LVRJ to find him on X, and he works with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Adam, thank you for your time, man. We'll catch up with you before the NFL season and get one more Raiders update before everything gets going.
Sounds good. And I realize I have 4 days till training camp, so maybe I sneak down there one more time to San Diego.
Come on down. We could go catch a Padres game together. Sammy will buy you a beer.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, brother. Adam Hill with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Good guy. All right, coming up next, it's time for Long Shots. Sammy's been on the struggle bus the last 2 days of no fault of his own. We have not had sports. He was having to throw money on summer league games last night, and he actually got pretty close.
Whoa.
Bronny James was not the problem last night. It was Love was the problem.
I haven't
right?
been on the struggle bus when the only thing that you have to do is summer league.
That's what I just said. I said through no fault of your own.
My headphones were off.
Through no fault of his own, the struggle bus has been here. And last night you actually got pretty close. Bronny James wasn't the problem. It was Love, wasn't it?
Caleb Love sold. Knuppel and Bronny hit.
I still think it's Knuppel.
Caleb Love got close. He needed 2 more rebounds, assists, or points.
Well, we're going combat sports coming up next. Long Shots on a Friday at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Visit him online today at mountaintrustmortgage.com or give him a call, 858-376-1299. You have heard these words come out of Gary's mouth a million times, and yes, we have another one. Consumer beware from Gary Cooper. What's going on, Gary?
Hey, I just got an email yesterday from a past client of mine, Ralph. I won't give his last name for identity protection, of course, but he sent me an email because when I did his last loan was transferred and sold to one of these big lenders, and you hear them all the time, actually. And anyway, he's looking for a second mortgage, $275,000. Credit scores are 781. And his loan to value is 63%. The reason why I'm very specific, because it does affect your pricing. Long story short, they came back to him at a rate of 8.25% on a 20-year fix. Now, they bombard you with emails and phone calls when your loan is being serviced by somebody else. They have their own retail division, and they're constantly just bombarding you. In comparison, of course, he reached out to me, and I'm very grateful for that because my rate at par was 7.20 with a payment or an APR of 7.261. That's a difference in payment of $178.18. They quote 8.25. The par rate is 7.20 on a 20-year fix. So consumer beware.
And call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com and tell him that Fletch sent you. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. And San Diego Sports 760, we got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. There is a video making its rounds on social media right now. And don't worry, it is not a CEO and his HR lady. It is of Klay Thompson, who is actually dating Megan Thee Stallion right now, right, yep. Sammy? Is that are
you shipping them, Fletch?
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I thought you're like the king of Love Island and weird stuff like that.
Megan Thee Stallion did appear on an episode of Love Island.
Yeah, I know. So
she was great.
Isn't it like shipping, like when you're like you love the relationship?
I've never heard that before, but that's cool. I might start using it. Am I cool enough to pull off shipping?
You can be whatever you want to be, Fletch.
So the video has nothing to do with Megan Thee Stallion. It is 1 minute and 47 seconds of Klay Thompson standing in one spot on a basketball court, shooting corner threes. He makes 70 threes in a row in 1 minute and 47 seconds. That dude has, I know Steph Curry is considered the greatest shooter of all time. Maybe right after him, it's Ray Allen. Klay Thompson has
has to be up there.
Klay Thompson has the prettiest stroke of all time when you're talking about shooting 3-pointers.
Yeah, I think Curry's earned the greatest shooter of all time. I know some people want to go Bird. That's fine. But Curry, I've never seen the way Curry has a quick release. But Klay Thompson, that's what made that team so lethal is that, I mean, you had the two best shooters in the NBA on the same team. Oh, and then you had Kevin Durant,
right,
who was the best scorer.
And at the time, Draymond Green was the best defender in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh, and then Andre Iguodala didn't suck at 3 either. So yeah, that was pretty brutal team.
Yeah, that was gnarly. But Klay Thompson, it's just that shooting stroke that he has from the corner. It looks exactly the same the entire minute 47, and the ball doesn't even think about touching the rim. He makes 70 straight threes. That's crazy. Sammy, you could probably do that, right?
Yeah. That's
Give you a minute 47. You can do it.
Yeah. I'm right there.
All right. Well, what you can do is win us some money, Sammy. And right now is the time. Sports are back. No excuses anymore. It's time for long shots. Sammy, smash that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
Fletch, shut up trying to interrupt Circa.
I'm sorry. That was my fault. Can't believe that's only the first time I've ever done that. But yeah, you want to tell everyone what Circa is, Sammy?
You mean Circa Survivor and Circa Million?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's the only thing you have to do in Vegas. It's season-long fun. NFL, Circa Survivor. You pick one game against a spread each week. All you gotta do is one. And I mentioned in my read earlier, all you gotta do. So you don't want to be like rookies are gonna go. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I'm gonna pick the Eagles. I'm gonna pick the Bills. I'm gonna pick the top teams. Then you burn them all, and then you're stuck picking the Jets late in the year. You gotta be quick about it early. Find matchups you think are tight, and then you can go 20-0 or outlast competition. Or if you don't want to deal with all that, you just go Circa Million. You pick 5 games against the spread each week, millions of dollars in prizes. Fletch and I are both signing up.
Both of us. Yep. I thought we were on the same one, but.
That's what I meant.
Okay. And we're going to be teammates.
Or we should be teammates. Or we could do opposite. We could see who lasts longer.
I like being teammates.
Yeah.
This is going to be what puts our show on the map, Sammy. Because final week of the season, we're going to be out there in Las Vegas as the final games come down to it.
You know, I tell you what we won't be doing?
Tell me.
Buying baseball cards?
No, or Pokemon cards, because that's what the text line was telling me Jim Russell was doing out in Vegas.
858. Jim didn't buy baseball cards. He bought Pokemon cards. That's a wild Vegas story. That's just embarrassing. Like, I don't know why you'd be admitting that on the radio.
Virgin. All right, whoa. Sammy, where are we going here?
Fletch, just talking out of pocket over there. Okay. Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. Big fight night. UFC 318. So I was gonna go fight time here. It was just set at 24.99.
You see the discount?
Yeah, I'm not using that though.
What? I am.
Yeah, because you're soft and want to take the freeway out. if you want to use, there's a free discount Poirier to get one strike. If he doesn't do that, I'll quit gambling forever. I mean, that's despicable. If the only way that happens if a little Conor McGregor Jose Aldo situation,
like a flying knee right away.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. I was gonna go fight time under, but we're gonna go 259.5 significant strikes combo less than. Everyone's picking this to go to a decision. Every single one of them. Everyone on the ESPN desk. Everyone goes Poirier by decision. Poirier's had his number. He's won 2 fights against him. First fight back in 2012, he choked him out. 2019, he won by a decision. Here's my thing. I think Holloway's going to be coming really aggressive because there's things within a fight that we can get a little bit of an edge on Vegas with. This fight is in New Orleans. And we love UFC. We love boxing. But one part about this is it doesn't hit zero. The clock doesn't hit zero. It goes to the scorecards. And a little home cooking in New Orleans, the crowd, every single time Poirier lands a glancing shot. I mean, this thing he could barely connect. The crowd's going to go nuts. So it changes the way you view a fight. If you want my advice, watch a fight, boxing, UFC, put it on mute where you can't hear the announcers, and you will watch a completely different fight than the one that everyone else sees. So in New Orleans, Lil Wayne walking him out. I think Max Holloway knows this. He's going to have to be aggressive and try to end this fight early. I don't like the decision here. I don't think he lets us go to a thing. So we're going to go under 259.5 strikes because I think someone gets knocked out earlier in this. And it also gives us a little cover because if Poirier is slow, which I think he is, last fight of his career, if he's not really getting active, we could hit the under on strikes, even if it goes to a decision.
Our guy Vito online correcting us, saying that Jose Aldo still got one punch in that McGregor fight. They hit each other at the same time.
That's a great
Jorge
point.
Masvidal was the one who did the
flying knee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vito. I appreciate that. Okay, now over to boxing. Manny Pacquiao fighting Mario Barrios this weekend, returning, 46 years old.
Dude, I forgot this was happening. This is crazy.
I bought all these fights already. 35 and a half minutes fight time against Mario Barrios. Now, Mario Barrios is a really big puncher. He fought Tank Davis, got his lights turned out, but he was winning that fight. Now, a lot of Tank fights do that. He kind of gives up rounds in the early, but he was fighting well. He's a solid fighter. Pacquiao, I think what we're going to see early on, he's going to have a lot of bursts. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the first couple rounds. We're going to see the gas tank. He won the title against Keith Thurman at age 40. At age 42, he was going to fight Errol Spence. Yordenis Ugas, who's a tricky Cuban fighter, that's a southpaw, gave him a lot of problems. He looked slow in this. I think Manny Pacquiao gets the bell. I do not think he wins, unfortunately. I'm pulling for him, but I think he's got enough left in the tank to get to the final bell. He was able to do that against Ugas. I think he will against Barrios. The only thing that could concern this is a doctor stoppage if Barrios starts going after him. But I think he hits the over on fight time. 35.5 minutes fight time, more than.
This can just be a yes or no answer. Do you think that there's any shades of even a McGregor Mayweather or a Paul Tyson type fight?
This is a real fight.
This is legit.
This is no.
This
BS.
isn't just a money grab for Manny Pacquiao.
No, Mario Barrios is not going to give this up because he is a world champion trying to set up world champion fights against Brian Norman Jr., Teofimo Lopez, other fighters. He's not throwing this fight. I promise you that won't happen. This is not like the other ones. Heavyweight championship of the world happening earlier in the day in Britain. This is the biggest thing happening in England. Alexander Usyk, who has beat Anthony Joshua twice, as well as Tyson Fury, fighting Daniel Dubois. Now, this fight's going to be fun. This is the fight I'm most excited for this weekend. They fought a couple years ago. Dubois was kind of unknown then, a rising contender. He landed a shot on Usyk's belt line that they called a low blow. They gave Usyk 10 minutes to recover. On replay, it clearly was not a low blow. He hit him right in the rib, and he fell down, and he dropped, and he was hurt. Usyk comes back, knocks him out later. We're going to go Usyk 29.5 fight time minutes. That gets you into the 10th round under. I think Dubois is going to come out swinging. He came back after he knocked Anthony Joshua out brutally. He's been on a 4-fight win streak. I think he's going to come out early in this fight. And if not, if he doesn't put Usyk out in the first 4 rounds, I think Usyk gets a mid-round stoppage, maybe 7th, 8th round. I think the under hits here, 29.5 fight time minutes. Last pick of the night. Tim Tszyu fighting Sebastian Fundora, on the co-main event of the Barrios and Pacquiao card. 189.5 total punches landed, more than for Tim Tszyu. This fight was a bloody mess a year and a half ago. Tim Tszyu won the first 2 rounds.
A bloody mess.
Fundora opened up a cut on his head. It's disgusting if you look it up. He was bleeding throughout the whole fight into his eye. He couldn't get his punches off. Fundora is an extremely tall welterweight. He's like stands 6'4", but he's extremely skinny. I think Tim Tszyu gets a lot of get back here. He's a really talented fighter. The son of former champion in the 90s, Costa Tszyu. I think he wins this fight. It goes the distance, 189.5 total punches, more than. So to recap, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, less than 259.5 significant strikes. Alexander Usyk, less than 29.5 fight time minutes. Tim Tszyu, more than 189.5 total punches landed. And Manny Pacquiao, more than 35.5 fight time minutes. Take it to the bank. We're getting it back this weekend.
I didn't even flex play this one. It is a flex Friday. I didn't even use it. I feel that good about it.
I feel pretty good about these picks. I'm not gonna lie. This one I don't want to jinx it.
Are you watching these at home or are you going somewhere for them?
I already bought the Usyk Dubois, so that one will be at home. I think I'm watching at home.
How are you power ranking these? Are you going Pacquiao 1?
Pacquiao, yeah, will be on the yeah. So I'm gonna have Pacquiao Barrios on the main TV, and then I will have another computer, the other TV, with the UFC main event. Because I think the cards for boxing is better than the UFC this weekend. The main event for the UFC is fantastic. The undercard.
Is there going to be a sports bar that has all of these going on?
I was trying to find that out.
Well, you said Dubois. That fight's earlier.
That fight's at like 2:00, so that one will be out of the way.
Because I'd like to be at a bar where both these fights are going on at the same time.
Text us
UFC
70470. Start your message with team. If you know a bar that's showing all these fights, please send it your way. I know UFC bars. I know some boxing bars, but I don't know if they show both.
Hour number 2 is coming up next. We got a lot to get to here as the Padres enter the second part of their season. TJ Watt signing his contract with the Steelers. We got some NFL. We got some Major League Baseball all coming up in hour number 2. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by the Jim Betrell real estate team. Padres back tonight in Washington, 3:45 against the Nationals. They're bringing a record of 38-58. Padres are currently minus 150 on the money line. Dylan Cease will be going for the Padres, while Michael Soroka will be going to the Nationals. And big news out of the NBA, Damian Lillard signs a 3-year, $42 million contract to go back to the Portland Trailblazers. He will miss the next year due to his injury, his Achilles injury. There were multiple teams interested in him: Boston, Lakers, Golden State, and Minnesota, but chose to go back home to Portland. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Oh, two youths.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
No fluff, just facts.
So I had an idea to get all of our listeners to call in and do Circa Survivor.
Whoa, dude.
I don't think that's legal.
On that you can trust me.
You're not serious, are you?
Program director said that that's not legal.
Can't do it.
Sammy's going to teach me how to play craps.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't know how to play craps.
I have played craps a lot in my life. I've won a lot of money playing craps, but I always just do whatever my friends
So
do.
if your friend jumps off a cliff, you're going to jump too?
I mean, maybe.
Don't frighten your audience.
Now it's time to enter
They're real and they're spectacular.
the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We're taking you up to 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We do have a Padres starting lineup today for their game against the Nationals coming up at 3:45. Trenton Brooks is back in the lineup, so that's really all you need to know. He is DHing today for the Padres with his 167 average so far on the season, I believe in like 36 at-bats. So that's where the Padres are right now. 2 weeks ahead of the trade deadline, DHing a guy with a sub 200 batting average so far with 1 homer on the year. Look, I really do wish the best for Trenton Brooks. He's from Alpine, but he's shown the Padres nothing so far. Hopefully that changes today. Hopefully Dylan Cease turns around his season today as well. It is San Diego Sports 760. We got a whole nother hour of this. Sammy, do I have this right that Steve Hartman bailed on us today?
Steve Hartman texted me a little bit ago. He said he has an emergency conference call that he has to attend. So this is the first week in like 6 months he hasn't done Fridays.
Emergency conference call. That's not even a thing. Like, what is that code for in Steve Hartman's world? Text line, wrong answers only, 70470. Start your message with team. What is the emergency conference call that Steve Hartman had to bail on? It's his
Afternoon delight.
But Steve Hartman says this is his favorite radio show in the world.
Yeah.
Steve Hartman says.
Was he lying to us? Was he?
I don't know. Text line 70470. Start your message with team. Emergency conference call is why Steve Hartman's bailing on the show today. What does that actually mean? Wrong answers only. 70470. Start your message with team. We'll kind of break down the Padres lineup for today and kind of address the holes in it of what needs to be fixed by the time this trade deadline comes and goes. But first, we got to hit the big 3 of hour number 2. Tons going on this weekend in the world of sports. The Open Championship is underway out at Royal Port Brush. Unfortunately, it just gets started too damn early in the day for us to really get into it. But also, Padres are back. Major League Baseball is back. We are nearing the 50-day mark until we're back at the NFL season. And we also have one of the biggest combat fight weekends of 2025. So let's get into it all with the big 3. Sammy Long, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big 3.
I'm sorry, but the 760 just said Steve's probably trying to get a quickie with the head of HR at his job.
Yo.
Topical. Well done, 760. All right, Sammy, where are we starting hour 2?
See, Steve's got me all distracted now. Wow, text line, really good job. We also have some really good texts coming in the last hour. That we're gonna 760 Blue Chew contract renegotiation.
It is too good.
Okay, all right.
Lock in, Sammy.
We're focusing. Okay, we're actually ahead of the NBA real quick. Charles Barkley made headlines today. He said Oklahoma City will be the favorite for the next 3 or 4 to 5 years every year. He said no one in the Western Conference even has a chance besides the Nuggets or the Rockets. Not even a chance. How would you rank the tiers? Do you think that's the case? Do you think that Oklahoma City, the real question, is getting too much love for winning one title?
Well, just trying to read through the tone of voice that you're throwing here, Sammy. You don't agree with this because the Lakers aren't mentioned?
Well, no, not just because the Lakers. I'll get into it in a second.
So there is a story out on Bleacher Report right now saying how a LeBron to the Warriors trade could be possible before the start of the 2026 NBA season. I don't see that happening, but I think that's also a little hurried of Charles Barkley. Look, do we all understand that the Oklahoma City Thunder just gave up damn near $1 billion in contracts to 3 guys? I don't know if you've been watching the NBA over the last decade. The big 3 thing is sort of come and gone. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing this with 3 guys who one of the 3 have really, truly proven themselves. I like Jalen Williams a lot. I think he's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time. But was he worth, how much money did he get, Sammy?
Jalen Williams got
a lot.
Something. They totaled, all 3 of them got $750 million.
So with those 3 guys, Chet Holmgren, SGA, and Jalen Williams, you are saying that those 3 guys are going to be the terror of the Western Conference for the next 10 years, essentially. And Oklahoma City is going to have to figure out a way to build around those 3 guys for the next 10 years. It is putting a lot of faith in 3 guys when you do have teams like the Lakers who aren't afraid to spend. When you do have teams like Houston, who I think is also a young, up-and-coming team. And when you have teams like San Antonio, have freaking Victor Wembanyama in it. And by the way, Cooper Flagg just entered the conference. I think it's a little early to say that OKC is the only team that has a shot.
Well, yeah, I think it's also like everyone forgets. People act like this Thunder team was the Kobe Shaq team that went 16-1 in the playoffs and blew everyone out. And this is not a shot to Oklahoma City Thunder. They should be the favorites going into next year. They're an extremely talented team. If you had a gun in my head and said who's going to win the title next year, I would pick Oklahoma City. But let's not forget that they got taken 7 games by Denver, who didn't have a coach. They got taken 7 games by the Pacers, and Tyrese Halliburton has 9 points and rips his Achilles in the first 3 minutes, so he's out. Even the first series against Memphis, not that Memphis was going to beat Oklahoma City. Games 3 and 4, game 3, they were up by like 30. John Morant gets hurt, they come back and win, and then Scottie Pippen Jr. drops like 30 in game 4, and they almost win there. So I feel like we're having a little revisionist history that they just ran through everyone. And we said this about the Lakers in 2020, that they would be a dynasty. They weren't. 2022, Denver wins the title. They're going to be a dynasty. They weren't. And the Boston Celtics, who we thought was one of the most talented teams there's ever been, wins the year before, and they're not a dynasty. They blew the entire thing up. So I feel like they certainly are the favorites. I think the Nuggets are certainly the 2nd seed. They're a really good team. Getting Valanciunas, Cam Thomas, they're going to be nasty next year. I don't believe in the Rockets because I just don't think Kevin Durant is a number 1 on a team anymore. But if you do, I get it. They are progressing upwards. And then I think it's kind of a logjam. I think the Lakers are in there. I think Golden State, if they are healthy in the playoffs, could be hell for people. Some people buy the Clippers. I don't know that they got better trading Norman Powell and getting Bradley Beal, but I think the West is too talented. I mean, Minnesota's there. San Antonio is going to be hell for people. It's too talented of a Western Conference, I think, to just be penciling them in as champions for the next 5 years. The Open. Scottie Scheffler fights back today, -10 with the lead heading into day 3 tomorrow. Is there anyone on the list? So Fitzpatrick's second at just 1 stroke back. Rory is tied for 12th at -3, 7 strokes back from Scottie. Is it Scottie or the field?
As of right now, yes. Scottie in the lead after day 2. It is going to be Scottie versus the field the rest of the way. Guys who I think have a chance. Tony Finau at 3 under par has a chance, although he's faded on Sundays in big tournaments throughout his career. Rory McIlroy, I mean, he's 5 shots back of the lead right now. 7 shots back of the lead right now.
DeChambeau fought back today. He was like completely out of it and had a pretty good day, so he's kind of in the mix.
Xander Schauffele is 8 shots back of the lead. It's going to be a tough road to hoe for anybody. Now, have you seen this developing story at the Open Championship where there's this guy, and I don't know if he fell out of contention today, but he was a Buddhist monk for the last calendar year, and going into today at least, and it looks like he's fallen back pretty far. He was in contention. He was tied for 12th at the end of yesterday, and it's a guy who legitimately has not spoken for the last year. I just think it's a fun story.
How does he communicate with his caddy?
So in 2023, he was a pro tour player, and then as of 2025, he's also been on the Asian tour. But for the entire year of 2024, he went and took the vow of silence and everything. It was a Buddhist monk for a year, and then he won some event on the Asian tour and qualified for the Open.
I got to be honest. I don't think I'd be a really good monk.
I think you should give it a shot.
I would be, I told you before the show, I think I'd be like the Hangover 2 when they're trying to get Teddy back and they're beating with bamboo because they're talking and the thing. I've been told I talk too much at in school throughout my life. So then I made it a career. Hey, you get paid to talk, so throw it back in your face.
It's crazy how similar that story is. I think the only grief I ever caused my parents growing up was the fact that I talked too much in class.
Yeah. Well, first off, you're being social. You're building relationships. Is it really all that bad? I mean, you get to talk enough. You know what I mean? The teacher. That was always my kind of thing.
Yeah. By the way, that poor guy had a rough day today. +8.
Yeah, probably.
He's completely fallen off the map. He was literally tied for 12th yesterday.
I hope
went 8 over.
I
today.
hope someone makes a run real quick with Scotty. I think like I like Scotty. I'm not like hating if he wins. Fitzpatrick's obviously up there. He's a solid player. Rory DeChambeau making a little bit of a run. As you mentioned, Finau. Hartman was the leader until the last couple holes.
Yeah, so watch out for Brian Hartman. Watch out for Harris English. I like Lee Westwood. Keegan Bradley's up there too. He's been playing really good golf lately. Maybe Xander can make a run. JJ Spawn way down, or not way down, but I think he's even par. Ludwig Aberg can put up birdies in a hurry. So there's some guys, but hopefully someone can make a run to compete with Scotty.
What is the big fight night weekend? We got into it in the last hour. Holloway Poirier and the UFC main event, Usyk Dubois heavyweight championship of the world, or Pacquiao and Barrios. What, if you could pick one, are you watching this weekend, Fletch?
It's Dustin Poirier for me. I'm a huge fan of his, and Max Holloway, the stones that he has to call people out while in the octagon, pointing to the center of the ring, and the response that people have had to that. Look, Adam Hill told us last hour the BMF belt is a made-up belt, but it gets taken seriously because of the fights that have come before on that card. So the BMF belt is the bad mother effer belt. Both these guys are going to try to prove that they are the baddest man in the world. That takes number one for me. Nostalgia based, it'd be hard not to go with Manny Pacquiao. But for me, in terms of entertainment this weekend, if I only could choose one, it would be Poirier Holloway.
Yeah, Poirier Holloway, my only problem with it, kind of like the Pacquiao fight, and I'm going to watch all of them, but is like if Manny Pacquiao wins, it's not, well, I guess if he wins, he's a world champion, so he's back in the picture, but there's only a certain level to fighting. Poirier, knowing he's retiring, like it was fun watching Nate Diaz's last fight, but you're also like, this is his last fight, and we're not seeing things set up down the road. So I'd prefer Max Holloway to win, if that's me. I'm really excited for Usyk Dubois. I think heavyweight championship of the world. It could be the first all-British heavyweight champion of all time in Dubois, and I think he really is a live dog in this. But I'm just curious to see guys like Pacquiao and Poirier. What is, like, how much is left in the tank? Like, knowing you're fighting, knowing you don't have a bunch of fights left, are you coming out to, like, win this thing and throwing everything to the win? Or is this a little bit of a cash grab last kind of, because we see some fighters when they're back in their hometown perform great, and they show up for their place. But then sometimes that can also be a little bit of a distraction. Like if you're Poirier fighting in New Orleans, knowing it's the last fight, it's going to be emotional. Where Max is really just thinking about the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Max and Barrios have big wins Saturday night.
All right, coming up next, we got a lot of text coming in on the text line about what Steve Hartman is actually doing instead of coming on this show. What did he text you, Sammy, verbatim?
I got to get it up, but he said, sorry, I have a emergency conference call. I got it right here.
Emergency conference call.
He said, Sammy, I have an emergency conference call at 1:30 today. Can't do our weekly interview this week. So sorry.
What was Steve Hartman actually doing instead of this emergency conference call? Wrong answers only. Text line 70470. Start your message with team. So instead of talking to Steve, we're going to make fun of Steve. Does everyone sound okay with that?
Yeah. Well, we could just imitate Steve.
What? Sammy, I cannot be imitated. Are you serious?
Scotty Scheffler's a disaster.
I mean, if we're gonna talk Raiders, we should talk about the 67 Raiders.
1969. I was a young man playing in a band, following the Raiders.
If only. All right, coming up next on San Diego Sports 760, this Padres lineup has me scratching my head a little bit. We'll explain why next, live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego FC is back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got Vancouver, the Whitecaps at Snapdragon Stadium. You can hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. Your home for SDFC. And by the way, if you want to buy tickets to that match, SanDiegoFC.com is where you got to go. Super fun time out at Snapdragon Stadium every time the boys are on the pitch. We got a bunch of texts coming in about the Steve Hartman thing. And if you missed it, Steve usually joins us at 1:30 on Fridays. He is canceling this week because why, Sammy? What was the words that he used?
Emergency conference call. So sorry.
What is Steve Hartman actually doing? We want to hear that on the text line because emergency conference call sounds like the worst excuse I've ever heard in my life. So what is Steve actually doing? 70470. Start your message with team. Load up the text line. We'll read them all coming up in 10 minutes.
Well, like, also, how long is a conference call?
Right.
Like, it's like what? 5 minutes? I guess I haven't really been on that many conference calls. I'll be honest.
I'm on one every Tuesday and Thursday that lasts for like 45 minutes. So
look at you, all professional.
They can get long. They're not fun. I don't recommend it.
I did do a couple and I was like, this kind of sucks.
All right. Well, it is San Diego Sports 760. The San Diego Padres are back. 3:45 today. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Pods, looking to get the second part of this year's Major League Baseball season off to a better note than the first part was for Cease. But the lineup is a little confusing to me. So Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Arraez, Manny Machado, Gavin Sheets, normal. Happy with it. Merrill batting fifth, normal. Bogarts is playing short, batting sixth. Cronenworth playing second, batting seventh. And then we get to the DH. Now, it's not like I have a better solution for this than what the Padres are putting out there, but it's Trenton Brooks once again. And I feel like I want Trenton Brooks to be really, really good for the San Diego Padres. He's from Alpine. It's a great story. But the fact of the matter is he just hasn't been good yet for the Padres. And what he's played in so far this year, 20 games, 36 at-bats. He's hitting like 167 with 13 strikeouts. So are the Padres at the point where for designated hitter, you're going with a guy who can't hit?
Well, it's the same conversation. It sucks. It's like this lineup is so reliant on the top five being great because it's really hard to really realistically expect 6 through 9 to be good. And to be fair to them, a little bit for the deadline, because I don't want to just completely bash them. They were actually performing a little bit like that Arizona series. They didn't score that many runs. They actually had a few of those, a few games where they popped off, and the 1 through 5 was dreadful. Now we saw 1 through 5 really wake up against the Phillies. Manny Machado, Tatis started to get hot. So it was a little bit of a bummer that honestly there was the All-Star break because he felt like it was something for the Padres to build on a little bit. Hopefully, we're talking about tonight, talking about on Monday, a 3-game sweep, and you kind of kept that momentum from the Philly series. And I think you're going to have a little bit less of the Washington Nationals playing kind of their old team with Abrams and Gore and Wood because they already did that at Petco. This is a big week. Talked about it earlier. Nationals, Marlins. It's a real opportunity for this team to kind of get out ahead because you cannot go like losing series is a big deal now with how tight this is. I mean, I'll pull it up right now, but they're holding on to that last wild card spot by a half game, and the Giants are right behind them. So I can't. And the St. Louis right, it's 1.5 behind the Padres, 2.5 Cincinnati, 5.5 Arizona. So I mean, these NL West games are going to be electric. They're really important. It's big that they kind of came back on the Diamondbacks there and was able to even the series, but I'm excited to see how this team responds and see if they can keep that momentum from last week.
And ultimately, I can complain about Trenton Brooks all I want, and it doesn't really matter. Whoever's in that DH spot, unless you go out and get somebody at the trade deadline, the DH spot's going to be less than par. But it does not matter what the DH spot does if Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts all hit better in the second half than they hit in the first half.
To that end, though, the catching's been awful.
Catching's a disaster.
That's where it's like it does feel like this team – when it's so much pressure on the top five and Merrill hasn't performed up to snuff this year. We all know about Bogarts. It's like there's not. I honestly feel like a bat at the end of the lineup is more important than getting starting pitching or bullpen help or something.
I agree. And a catcher who could hit a little bit. Now, we just talked to Coach Quintera, and he was talking about the catching options around the league. Kind of booty cheeks right now. No, not his words. Those are my words. But
really? Coach Quintera didn't say booty cheeks on there?
Believe it or not, he didn't. But there's just not too many great hitting, catching options out there. But as much as Mike Schilt wants to say, look, we replace or we're fine sacrificing a little bit of offense for great defense from the catching position. Well, have you watched the last few weeks? Because the defense hasn't been that great either, Mike. So I'm hoping the Padres do something.
Schilt is so caught in his ways with this stuff. Like, no, the offense is not producing at the level it needs to be. And yes, the bullpen could use a little help. The starting pitching could use a little help, but overall, the pitching staff, if you would have said this is what you have going in the playoffs, I feel like you'd be pretty confident about the pitching staff.
As long as the bullpen gets like 10% more rested in the second half than they got in the first half.
As I think there's some areas that I think the bullpen could use a little more depth so they don't have to burn these arms. But I mean, the bats, like, come on. It can't also, like, Tatis needs to step up, but it can't also just be on Tatis and Machado to hit home runs for this team to win.
And Gavin Sheets, come on.
And Gavin Sheets.
He's off paternity leave. He's a dad now.
He's off paternity leave.
Let's go, Gav.
Are we celebrating paternity leave?
For Gavin Sheets? Sure. Well, he's back. He timed it out
it's
perfectly.
big because they
he looked at the calendar. He was like, I need to have sex on this day so that I'm on paternity leave during the All-Star
all
break.
riled up for this weekend today.
I'm ready to go, man. Woo! All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Coming up next, we're going to read some of these texts about Steve Hartman. It's insane what you guys are doing right now, and I love every single second of it. And plus, we're going to get to some of the awesome combat sports coming up this weekend. We haven't even gotten Sammy's full breakdown on the fights in the world of boxing.
The Niners just had some news that came across my phone right now.
Damn it. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport sponsored by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Padres finally back tonight after the All-Star break, 3:45. A couple hours away from first pitch against the Washington Nationals. Dylan Cease be on the mound for the Pods, while Michael Soroka will be going for the Nationals. In the UFC main event tomorrow night, 3:18. Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier in New Orleans. Poirier's hometown, expected to be his final fight. Holloway is a slight favorite at -130 to win the BMF belt. Make a splash, earn some cash at Valley View Casino and Hotel. On July 25th, one lucky winner will wave hello to cash, cash, and more cash, or spin for $100,000 during the 3 C's giveaway, only at San Diego's favorite casino.
San Diego Sports 760. 30 minutes left. Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Usually 1:30 Fridays means one thing and one thing only. Steve Hartman joins the show. Today, Steve bailed on us because of an emergency conference call. So, of course, we asked the text line what Steve is doing instead of an emergency conference call, because that's clearly a fake excuse. 760 says, getting a quickie in with the head of HR at his company. Not bad. Topical. I like it. 760 also say a Blue Chew contract renegotiations. 619 Hartman is negotiating a new contract to advertise with ED drugs in his manly baritone testosterone voice.
Chew and do.
Chew it and do it. 615 Steve Hartman got caught on a kiss cam with his side piece and now he's in full crisis management mode.
Didn't he get fired today?
Who?
Is that
the CEO?
That might have been fake on X. I gotta fact check things before I say it.
He released a statement yesterday saying he was taking some time away.
Yeah, that's called hey buddy, you're ruining bad press for our stock.
619. I feel like the stock might have gone up. Like yesterday was the first time a lot of people heard the word astronomer in terms of an AI company.
Yeah, but it's not the greatest thing when your CEO is having an affair with the head of HR. So some of the people, the stock shareholders might not be too thrilled.
But some of the stock bros might be going, oh, this is a good time to pump this stock.
Do you think that your $10 that you throw in the stock market fluctuates it?
I don't throw any dollars in the stock market. I don't really know how.
You're not in the stock market?
No, I tried to do some of the Dogecoin at one point, made a little bit of money.
Of
bailed.
course you were in on Dogecoin.
I was in early too, Sammy. I got it at like 4 or 5 cents and I made a lot of money really
I was
quickly.
a part of AMC when that went crazy a year or two ago.
I know a lot of people who got on AMC too late and lost all their money.
I was an idiot and kept it in my account because I thought it was going to the moon.
619 says, I think the Coldplay cheater guy is currently applying for the Monk program and a vow of silence, especially while under oath in divorce court.
Shout out to Coldplay, man.
I'll be honest, it got to like 6 or 7 o'clock last night, and I was staying up to date on this all day long yesterday, trying to see what was happening, because I also do a classic rock show in the morning, which is much more pop culture and like fun. We don't really talk sports as much. And so this was going to be a huge topic again today. And the more I read about it, the more I just started to think, oh my God, this poor family, both families who are affected by this, the years of therapy that are going to have to be paid for. This is the most public, disgusting divorce I've ever seen, man. It's sad.
Well, here's the thing.
It's his own fault and her own fault.
Well, I like how you're like worried about the family and yet you're talking about it for 4 hours in the morning show.
I know. It feels gross.
It's like you're not helping.
I don't like it, but it's what we have to do, Sammy. 858, duh. All emergency press conferences are held at Hong Kong, and TJ can't hate the man for keeping his priorities straight.
That is a wild text to read on air. Wild text, Fletch.
Next time Steve comes on, I think we should open it up with asking him, have you ever been to Hong Kong in TJ?
You're going to get us fired.
You don't like that one? Well, it's not illegal to go there. I've never been there, but it's not an illegal thing, and it's something that people from
I just
San
want
Diego
to say,
do.
all of our listeners, it's been fun. If you never hear our voices again, it's,
Sammy, that is a place.
Fletch.
That is an establishment that people go to. It's not like I'm saying anything out of pocket here. I don't control what happens in that place.
Sounds like you've been there a few times.
I've actually never been there. I've actually only been to the Tijuana airport. I've never actually been to like Tijuana and walked around, although I've heard it's awesome. I wish I could. All right.
You need to stop. Okay. Sports.
Sammy, what's going on with the 49ers?
Holy wow. Okay, Fridays, seriously. Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall. Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall on the physically unable to perform list. So the Niners having a brutal week. physically unable to perform. Pearsall, Ayuk, Jawan Jennings possibly want to trade. Fletch, I mean, is Brock Purdy going to be able to do this by himself? He can't throw the ball to himself.
All right, let's all just take a deep breath and relax a little bit. So Ricky Pearsall has a hamstring. And if you don't remember, he was the rookie wide receiver for the 49ers a year ago who got shot right before the season, got shot in the chest, missed the first half of the year, came out and played really, really great the last 4 or 5 weeks of the year. Ricky Pearsall is dealing with a hamstring, so 4 weeks is the PUP list. So he's probably going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. Brandon Ayuk still coming back from that torn ACL, 4 weeks, probably the start of the season. And then Jawan Jennings, the last name that you brought up, is asking for a new contract, either a pay me or a trade me bit. Niners have already come out and said they're not trading him, so you would assume they're paying him. Ricky Pearsall was not expected to go on the PUP list. He was expected to have a hamstring injury that would get figured out before the start of the season. This is all the more motivation for John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to get it done with Jawan Jennings, something I think they were already going to do to begin with, because within Kyle Shanahan's offense, you need that wide receiver swing blocker, and that is Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, I like it.
You're just happy over there that people are injured.
No.
Sick that is, Sammy?
I'm not happy that anyone's injured. I want Brock Purdy to have,
like me yesterday coming on and be like, I'm glad Rasheed Rice is going to jail. I would never say that. That's a disgusting thing to say.
I'm laughing because it's funny to me. Like Brock Purdy fans, it's just like anything will be used to excuse him. But listen, I'm rooting for your guy.
What are you saying, dude? Everybody got hurt last year on the Niners. That's not making an excuse for Brock Purdy. We're not getting a
Niner discussion today. You know what we haven't done yet? Division preview.
It is time for the NFC North. So yesterday we did the AFC North. I think we came to the conclusion that it is the Ravens conference to lose, but the Steelers have the best shot to get out over them. This year, the NFC North is fascinating, man. So Sammy Long has gone on record saying that the Chicago Bears are going to win the NFC North. Crazy thing to say. Hold on.
I didn't say that. I said they're the most likely team to go from worst to first.
No, but I said you said it on record, so you said it on record.
No, but you just make stuff up.
All right, I'm going to go through the teams real quick. Sammy, can you get the horns ready? We're going to need them in just a second. But in the NFC North, the Detroit Lions won it last year with 15 wins. The Minnesota Vikings came in second with 14 wins. Packers in third with 11 wins. And the Chicago Bears, who's Sammy Long, is saying they're going to win the NFC North at 5.
I said most likely to go from worst to first. You said the Niners. I don't think that's happening.
5 measly wins.
This is an interesting division.
I think so too, man.
Because there's a real case to be made for any single team in this division to win it.
Except for the Chicago Bears.
I think the Vikings are gonna fall off the face of the earth, though. I just don't see they're talented. They'll win. I think they'll be that team that could put it together late, but McCarthy, that's too tough of a division to be thrown in there and expected to go win it.
Yeah, the other thing that would support your argument here, Sammy, is that the Vikings won a ton of close games last year. And Sam Darnold played really well in those close games. Is J.J. McCarthy that guy, that rookie, which is essentially what he is, coming out year 2 of his career, year 1 of him playing? Can J.J. McCarthy lead you to winning close games? The Vikings defense I really like. I think it's a tricky defense, and I think the world of Kevin O'Connell. But I got to imagine if they won 14 last year, it's looking closer to 10 this year.
Oh, no. That's way too high.
You think less than 10?
Oh, I think they're probably like 6, 7 games winning.
That's crazy. The only thing that's changed on this team is the quarterback.
Yeah, but that's the issue, is that J.J. McCarthy, his final season at Michigan when he won the championship, didn't throw more than 1 touchdown pass his final 7 games of his career. He was a raw prospect coming in. That was the fact that J.J. McCarthy has the talent, has the upside. He was a super high recruit going to Michigan. He beat Ohio State every time he played him. But a lot of that was on play action. He's got a cannon of an arm, but he's not super accurate yet. He needs development. Owain's coming off a major knee and leg injury. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. J.J. McCarthy could be a solid player in a few years, but this division is not a division to try to get right in because there's literally no walkover games. The Lions are interesting to me because
hang on. So you said 6 wins for the Vikings?
I'd say 6, 7, hanging around there.
Vegas has them at 8.5.
Well,
so it sounds like there's already one that we're going to be different on going into this year.
Yeah, I think 8.5 is being generous because of last year's team, and I think people are underappreciating how good Sam Darnold really was for that team last year because of the final 2 games of his Vikings career.
14-6 seems crazy to me, even if it's just a change at quarterback. Now, you were talking about the Detroit Lions, who obviously got first place in the conference last year, but Detroit lost both their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn went to the New York Jets. I think he was a fantastic defensive coordinator, man. And you look at the culture that has been built in Detroit. A lot of it's Dan Campbell. Of course it is. The dude that's what he does. He's not an X's and O's guy. He is a culture guy through and through. But I think Aaron Glenn was as big a part of that culture as Dan Campbell was. That's even bigger for me than them losing out on Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach with the Chicago Bears. Aaron Glenn, I thought, was maybe the best defensive coordinator in all of football last year. And with him walking out the door, I think that hurts them a ton for this season. So I could see them dropping back too.
Don't be flipping. You were saying the Lions are going to be winning
They're going to win
NFC.
They're going to win the division. They might win the entire NFC, but I do think they take a big step back from 15
The Lions,
wins.
anyone can coach that offense. The offense is
I agree.
Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff. That's a fun with a great offensive line, by the way.
Best running back room in football between the two of them. David Montgomery and
Montgomery
Jahmyr Gibbs.
So the Lions, I think, are certainly going to make the playoffs. I could see them winning the division. I think they're good. But I think there is a real question that is Dan Campbell going to win with this? Because Aaron Glenn, I'm sorry, Dan Campbell is not with that. If that many injuries happen again on the defensive side and Aaron Glenn's not there, they're not winning that many games. What Aaron Glenn, to what you were saying, was able to do with literally 6-7 pass rushers out, I mean, was fantastic. I think the Lions are going to be good, but I think that there's a lot of pressure on them and losing both coordinators. Some of the things that the Chiefs have been allowed to be good over the years, the Eagles have been allowed to be good over the years, even the Bills, they don't lose coordinators. They kind of keep them in-house. They lost both of them. The Packers are interesting because I don't know how much better they got, but I do feel like everyone in the division got a little bit worse besides the Bears. I think they're going to be solid. Jordan Love, they got a really deep receiving room, but they don't have a number one receiver truly. Defense is pretty solid. The Bears, though, I am pretty high on them. I don't know if they're going to win the division, but I do think they will be a playoff team next year.
We got $100 right now. Says the Bears are not a playoff team next year.
Caleb, I'm betting in Vegas. I don't bet with you. Caleb Williams didn't have an offensive line or a defensive line last year. We got way two of our skis with Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and all these guys. Odunze year 2. He is a real coach now. That guy was an idiot last year. Okay, Ben Johnson is an offensive mastermind. He's not going to let him get sacked a record. What was it, like something crazy, like 73 times?
Yeah, but part of that was his fault. The dude holds on to the ball for way too long.
Caleb Williams didn't turn the ball over at all last year in terms of interceptions. Ben Johnson's going to get all this cleaned up.
You told me Caleb Williams did not throw a single interception last year?
Well, no, but I mean, if we compare his stats to certain other quarterbacks in the NFC, I think we'd be a little surprised at how good he was.
All right, well, we can pull up stats any day of the week. Division winner, Sammy, give it to me.
Well, we got to wait till the end of camp.
Division winner, give it to me.
I mean, probably Detroit.
I would also say
think Chicago's
Detroit.
2 in the division.
All right, our buddy Wes on X saying Hong Kong and TJ's world ranked, Sammy. It's legit. I've been there. Tyler saying, I hear the shrimp fried rice is pretty all right. On the text line, 760. Hong Kong, best Chinese food in the area. Sammy, you're
760 agrees with me. I'll take that money. 100 Bears. Bears make the playoffs. Wild card coming in at 10-7.
No, I'm not going to bet with you 760. I don't think I can, but I can bet with Sammy. And if you don't want that, it's off the table.
I don't feel like you pay up though.
What are you talking about? Of course I would. 5, 4, 3.
I'm going to Circa and betting.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to close out the week. Coming up next, give you a little update on what's happened at Royal Port Brush so far. Get you set up for Manny Pacquiao back in the ring. And Sammy's got a review of Superman coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, that's just about it for us today. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for a few more minutes here before we hand it over to John and Jim. We're going to get Sammy's review of the new Superman movie coming up in just a minute. But on today's edition of Dumbest Ways to Get Fired, have you seen what's going on with the NFLPA, the head of the NFLPA?
I saw something about that. I didn't read it, though.
Lloyd Howell, who has been the head of the PA for a while now, he resigned, but would have been fired because he has submitted multiple expenses for strip club receipts to the NFLPA to pay.
Yeah.
Rough day.
Was it the like tips he was getting? Like, I don't know, like, is he ordering food there? He's getting No. It was during the NFLPA summit, which happens every single offseason, which is supposed to foster leadership and foster, build new leaders within the system. He's putting it on his credit card?
No, he's putting it on the union's credit card. So he was taking cars from wherever the summit was held and bringing employees and bringing people. This got caught because somebody in the interior of the NFLPA flagged it as a suspicious charge, and that charge went all the way up to the very tippy top.
It's like that guy who... Remember he was scammed in like when COVID happened and everyone.
Oh, he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No. This is just some random dude. Unemployment. Everyone's getting the stimulus checks all the time, every couple weeks, and he got away with it. He was like scamming it, and he was getting like thousands of dollars, and then he goes into a Jaguar dealership and buys a Jag. And then because he like worked at a gas station or something, they're like, "Why can you afford a Jaguar?" And he got caught.
There was someone stealing a bunch of money from the Jags too. Yeah, there we go. Jacksonville Jaguars stolen money. There was an employee that stole more than $22 million from the Jacksonville Jaguars before he got caught over like several years.
How do you steal $22 million without no one finding out?
That's what I'm saying. Jags
especially
had some
in an NFL organization.
Inept leadership, really bad auditors. That's what I'm thinking. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We're going to close this thing up in just a sec. Sammy, you went and saw the new Superman movie yesterday. I saw it about a week ago now. I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was fine, and everybody online seems to either hate it or love it. What did you think?
I thought it was good. I thought at first it was a little slow. The first like 10, 15 minutes, I was a little like, because I didn't have like super high expectations going in because I had heard people bashing it. I know you had said you really liked it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. I thought he did a good job playing Superman, and it was kind of a different twist on like a superhero movie. It wasn't just like, I liked it. I know he's like Lex Luthor and everything, but it wasn't just like, oh, there's this new bad guy who's killing everyone, and then he comes in and stops him at the end. Like, it was kind of interesting how it was kind of social media was put in. I don't want to give anything away, but the fact that like public narratives about him.
It was a self-aware Superman.
Yeah, it was very 2025 superhero movie.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought James Gunn did a good job. Now, people online who hate it, I think are either like politically looking to get clicks, which is a problem here in 2025 that we're dealing with. And I really did not feel like there was any politics in the movie. Like, I thought it really did go down the middle, and I didn't really feel one way or another about it. Or people who love Zack Snyder so much that any other version of Superman's never going to cut it.
But also like superhero, any new movie that comes out, everyone's first instinct, especially when you're redoing an old movie, is to just shred it.
Yeah.
It's never going to be, I mean, like Gladiator 2 was a great movie. If anyone thought that Gladiator 2 was going to be Gladiator 1, like, I'm sorry, that's on you for going into the movie theater thinking that he's going to be Russell Crowe. But if you didn't go into thinking that, you're like, that was a really good movie.
I actually still haven't seen Gladiator 2, which that's probably a me problem. I should watch it.
I've watched it twice. I'm thinking about going to see this weekend. They got the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I didn't know that there was an original. I saw the trailer for
Jennifer Love Hewitt and all that.
No, I had no idea.
Freddie Prinze.
Is it good?
It's a dumb slasher movie, but they remade it all these years later.
I'd like to see F1. I still haven't seen that, and it's smashing at the box office.
I know.
400 mil made.
I got to see F1.
I've heard it's great, like really, really great, but I haven't seen it yet. I thought the new Superman movie was fun. I went back because of all this online hate that this one's gotten. People say that it could never compare to Zack Snyder. I went back and watched the Man of Steel this week, and I will say Man of Steel, a little more emotional, a little bigger stage, but I thought this movie was better.
Yeah, well,
it's more fun.
Who says the Zack Snyder movies are so much better than everyone else?
Zack Snyder fans who are insane people.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I would give it a solid for like, especially after Avengers when superhero movies really took a tank there for a minute, and it was like Everything like that last Thor movie was awful, and some of them, like I thought it was pretty well done.
This is like the best superhero movie probably since Avengers, the best DC movie since I would say The Dark Knight Rises.
Thunderbolts was pretty good.
Thunderbolts was Marvel,
but I was impressed with that because again, a different take on it. They didn't just do the same formula. It's like I heard Jason Bateman talking about this about how they were kind of asking him why comedy movies are not. Like, why don't they make hard R-rated comedies and drop them in theaters anymore?
Because studios aren't down to take risks anymore.
They don't want to get canceled. They don't want to take risks. But then also, they're like superhero movies where we've had such an influx of them the last like 5 to 10 years. It's because they're the easiest sell at the box office. Kids want to see them. Parents want to see them. Parents who don't want to see them take their kids to go see them. It's like we need a little more diversity at the box office than just superhero movies every week.
All right, before we get out of here today, I do want to do a quick little Dylan Cease stat line tonight. What are we thinking? Is this going to be a resurgence for Dylan Cease? Is he going to come out focused and ready to go for the second half of the season after, frankly, a little embarrassing start to the year for Dylan Cease? Is he going to come back and turn it around and be that Dylan Cease that could really be a huge push for the Padres towards the postseason? Or is it more of the same? Sammy, give me a stat line tonight.
6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs given up, 7 strikeouts.
I'm going to say he gets into the 7th. Doesn't get out of the 7th because he hits a little bit like 105 pitches.
But everyone's rested. So if he gets any trouble tonight, they're going to pull him fast.
Yeah. 2 earned runs sounds about right to me. Give me 9 Ks. Lots of strikeouts today for Dylan Cease.
I think Cease actually has a big performance tonight because you got to keep in mind, I mean, he hears all this. He hears the fact that the Padres don't have prospects to trade.
Did we say hi to Dylan Cease yet today? I don't think we have. Hi, Dylan. Thanks for listening, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, Dylan, man. Feel free to hop on.
Hope your pregame stretching routine's going well right now.
But they like Cease, I mean, he knows that they're not trading Salas or DeVries, or at least we don't think they're going to. And honestly, I don't even know how much Salas would get right now, considering he's in AA ball and he's not even performing that well. I think he could be really good down the road. I'm not trashing the guy, but the Padres don't have a lot of prospects to give. So Dylan Cease is the logical choice, especially because if you're looking at hitting, bullpen, or starting pitching staff, the most influx of talent the Padres have is probably in the starting pitching staff. The best I would say probably is the bullpen, but willing to trade. So he hears all this. I bet he has a good performance right before the deadline, trying to stay a Padre or at least up his value. So if they do deal him,
I think Cease is good tonight. Also, does Pacquiao win?
No, I think he loses in a decision. I think he has a couple moments early. I think he cracks Barrios once, but I think he gasses out after the 5th round.
Does Poirier win?
No, I think Holloway actually knocks him out in an upset.
Man, you're going against both of who everybody wants to win.
Yeah, I want Pacquiao bad. I hope I'm wrong. If he pulls it off, that's one of the all-time like no BS. Tiger winning the Masters, like at 46 years old to win a world championship is ridiculous. But if I'm betting without my heart, I think he doesn't get it done.
All right. Well, Sammy and I are out of here. John and Jim are coming up next. Hear all about the Pokemon cards that Jim got while he was out in Las Vegas. We're going to see you on Monday. Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate it. If you missed anything, catch us on the podcast. Just search the Fletch Zone on the free iHeartRadio app. And we'll see you Monday. John and Jim next.